Good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to the Brantix podcast and heartiest congratulations for the IPO.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for having us on the show.
Wonderful. So I think it's a fantastic combination, the new vibe and the IPO. So it's double the bonanza. So,
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. So, Mr. Ankit, how's been your journey like? It's been 8 years, just 8 years, and you've achieved big. So how's been the journey like?
Sonia, the journey has been fantastic. I mean, the day we started, you always see day one and one day where we have to reach. So probably we are reaching very quickly to that goal of one day where we wanted to reach. So I'll tell you about the business. I'll tell you about myself first. So I was born in a tier 4 town in India. And while I was traveling around in and around parts of Northeast India, I realized that the last mile connectivity was practically absent. It was dependent more on the diesel auto rickshaws and the petrol auto rickshaws. And when I was speaking to the consumers there, I realized that the ride was very expensive for them. And the existing drivers and the fleet owners were not making money. CNG penetration was not there in tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 cities. And interestingly, at that point of time in 2016, like all tier 3, tier 4 towns started getting electrified. So we thought that we could perfectly leverage this gap and with our electric three-wheelers. So we decided to launch our electric three-wheelers for the people of Bharat. And moving forward, as we were penetrating deeper into Bharat, we realized in 2018 that the market for two-wheeler is even bigger than the market for three-wheelers, and it is even bigger than the market for four-wheelers. So it made logical sense for us to enter into the next big segment in the EVs with our electric two-wheelers. Moreover, there was a lot of market pull also. There was a lot of demand also at that point of time. So we identified a huge white space in the mass premium category. And hence we focused on building very, very premium looking products and at affordable prices for our consumers. So to add more to this, we are a very, very consumer-centric company. We speak to each one of our customers on the date of purchase plus 3 days, on the date of purchase plus 30 days to understand their feedback about the product and what they feel is good about the product and what can be improved. So all our new product making decisions, Sonia, will be amazed, is based on the valuable customer insights that we gather by speaking to our customers. Just to give you a couple of examples, people in India want the footboard of the scooters to be large enough so that they can carry a gas cylinder or a 5 kg atta packet in it. They want a full scooter with a seat big enough for 2.5 passengers to sit on. So we focused on incorporating these features in our scooters, and I believe these strategies have paid rich dividends to us.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Mr. Tushar, considering that the market is so crowded with Olas and Mahindras, what is your growth strategy?
Right. So, Sonia, that's a great question. See, with companies like Ola and Ather and others, TVS and all coming up, so it is actually a really good thing because they are helping people understand the importance of EVs. So they're spreading the word. Right now, if we look at 2025, the penetration is barely 8 to 10%. When I say penetration, out of 100, how many vehicles are there? We expect, and the Indian government expects that the penetration will be around 60 to 70%. We expect even if it is around 50% by 2030. So the market is for everyone to take, right? As far as differentiated strategy is concerned, so how we are growing, right? So we have positioned ourselves as a Bharat player instead of a India player. So what I mean is by that is we are making affordable EVs, we are making good looking EVs, head turner EVs, and robust EVs, which are there for tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns. Like instead of Bangalore, we are focusing on Bareilly, right? So that is one distributed strategy, differentiated strategy. The second strategy is our pricing strategy. So I am very well poised to sit in a white space where, let's say, Athers and Bajaj are not there. So right now, these vehicles are selling at 1 lakh plus, right? Around 1 lakh. So my vehicle is available to the customer at a price point of around 50 to 60,000 rupees, starting, right? Two-wheeler. Apart from that, we are following certain strategies like retail focus. No brand or very few brands in India are focusing on retail, right? So once the dealer gets the product and it is dealer's responsibility to sell the product, we contribute 50% in the branding and marketing at the BTL level, right? We are tied up with one of the India's largest conglomerates and their CSR wing, right? So whose mandate is to create micro entrepreneurs all over India. So we are creating sub dealers by tying up with them. Apart from this, we are focusing highly on serviceability. So serviceability is going to be a big pull. You would have seen the news, right, in the market about poor serviceability about certain brands, and it can happen to any brand. I mean, not pointing out anyone, but that is a real problem right now because the real problem lies in skill set. It is a new domain. Most people don't know how to service. Most people, make some mistakes while servicing. So there is a huge space while servicing. So we are focusing on those things as well. Apart from that, there are a couple of things. We are one of the few companies in India who make both the categories, two-wheelers as well as three-wheelers. So we have a perfect hedge, right? So if you count two-wheeler as well as three-wheelers, it combines the total of 90% of the EVs sold in India. The rest are buses and four-wheelers. So the 90% category we are already present, right? We are also looking at places like Africa, like Nepal, like Sri Lanka to export. Apart from that, we are coming up with new business verticals, which are sort of part of the ecosystem, which probably Aman will be able to explain later on. So it is called EV Hub, in which we are, creating revenue and from spares and accessories for the dealers. So the future looks,
Wonderful. Thank you.
yeah.
Super, super. So, Aman, let's hear it from you about the EB hub and the infrastructure you're building around it.
Surely. Thank you, Sonia. So I'll just add to what Tushar was, saying and what Ankit already had told that, servicing has been a clear, challenge. Like that is widely known, and it's not just because of the supply chain and the internal operational problems of the different brands that they're facing, but majorly it's also because there is no skilled manpower which would be, addressing your EVK concerns. So we went into a 2 years research phase. And also another thing I like to highlight, like a decade back, if you remember, when our laptops or computers used to, go rogue, they used to change the entire motherboard. Whatever be the problem, it would be like, eight, say, 10,000 ka sir, this is the bill. So something similar has been or had been happening in the EV. And after this 2 years of research, we started repairing things at the child part level at all the components. So basically, it could be a basic capacitor which is not working while they're replacing the entire controller, or a sensor not working and they're replacing the entire motor. And even if someone is trying to repair, the turnaround time is very high. So now what we did, we first learned everything by ourselves, agnostic to any brand. And then we started training batches of our dealers within our two plants. And now our dealers are not just repairing Deltic, but all the other brands in their area. So this has actually simplified the inability of EV in the local ecosystem. Apart from that, this has resulted into, the multiplier effect in terms of marketing, which hundred of crores could have brought, because the kind of increasing relevant footfall that we are getting while getting established as a market leader who is enabling EV is unparalleled. So definitely this has been of help. And another last pointer I like to add to the question that you asked, Tushar, that how are we having this distinguished strategy? So, as Ankit told, we have spoken to more than 30,000 customers twice, and we stay in touch. So, we kind of know what are the fundamentals that they need in their vehicles. So, our features are to the point, as Ankit again told, that the leg space where you can place your legs as well as a bag, because this is what India needs, not overloaded electronics components. So it also helps us in easy servicing, and these are distinguished strategies that we have been using.
Wonderful. So, Deltic is a B2C, B2C?
Primarily, we have
Yes.
been focused on B2C, while we have been exploring B2B and B2G now. And
All right.
like we have an LOI from one of the big projects, that 2,000 garbage vans that we'll be supplying to Assam. It is via one of our partners, which will be going eventually to the government of Assam. So we have been now exploring the B2B vertical.
Wonderful. All right. Mr. Ankit, take the details of the IPO. How do you plan to utilize the funds, and what propelled you to take the big move?
So, like there are three major heads or four major heads under which the fund is going to be deployed. About 21 crore 32 lakh rupees would be deployed in developing five new products. So in the three-wheeler category, we are making two more electric auto rickshaws. One would be a passenger auto rickshaw and one would be a goods carrier auto rickshaw with a higher capacity than what we are currently offering. In the three-wheeler category, we'll be developing electric motorcycle. We'll also be developing a delivery scooter, which will go cater to the B2B needs of bigger companies. And third, we are developing a commuter electric scooter, which will be again very, very premium looking and at an affordable price. So, what motivated us, Sonia? See, we have been bootstrapped for the last 8 years. We were self-funded. So when we started this business, we thought that we had two choices. Either we could have developed all components in-house and then launched into the market. It would have taken us at least 5-6 years to perfect the product and launch into the market. But instead, we decided that we'll build a business first. So currently, we are very proud to say we are profitable for the last 5 financial years, and we have achieved a decent scale. And now we are looking at raising growth capital, which will act as a catalyst to propel us from one level to another. So basically, that is the idea why we are thinking of going for an IPO now.
Wonderful. So, Mr. Tushar, can you throw some light on your manufacturing capabilities and your R&D facility?
Right. So right now, we have two plants. As Ankit mentioned that, we are already present in the 25 states of India, and we are catering to 300 plus dealers all across India. So one of our plant is in Asansol in West Bengal, and the other plant is in Delhi. So where we manufacture, right? So we manufacture both two-wheeler as well as three-wheeler. And we have testing, we have QC capabilities, we have storage capabilities, right, in both the plants. So right now, we are able to manufacture from one plant upwards of 5,000 vehicles per month, right? That is two-wheelers. And in terms of three-wheelers, we can manufacture 1,000 to 1,500 per month. So we have optimized capability and for the growth, and we have, the manpower, which is ready to scale up.
Wonderful. Mr. Ankit, you won the Rajasthan Award, the Rajasthan Gaurav Award, and you've been featured 40 under 40. So what's been your leadership mantra?
So leadership mantra is very simple. So the leadership philosophy here is very, very decentralized. We are as lean and as mean as a startup, and we are as structured and disciplined like a corporate entity. So we are trying to combine the best of both worlds. And we have a very, very capable team like Tushar and Aman. They're already on the call. Tushar is a graduate from IIT and an MBA from IIM Lucknow. Aman is an engineer from BIT, and then post that, he has been a 2x entrepreneur. He has prior experience of running his own show. Then, if you look at the operations team, it is being run by Shantanu. He's again a mechanical engineer from IIT and MBA in operations from NIT Mumbai. He was working with Reliance, then he joined us. So on and so forth. So the team is pretty good, and the leadership is the leadership thought process is very, very clear. We want to focus on the first principles of everything. We don't want to get into that fancy mode, but we want to do the basics absolutely right. So there we cannot falter. So that is the thing, and I think that is what has helped us to reach this level.
Super. So can you give a bifurcation of all the verticals and your revenue stream from each verticals?
So essentially, Sonia, currently there are three major revenue streams. One is selling of two-wheelers, one is selling of three-wheelers, and another is spare parts. So the breakup, I would say, is about 50% of the revenue comes from selling of three-wheelers. About 45% of the revenue comes from selling of two-wheelers, and about 5% of our revenue comes from selling of spare parts. And going forward with the advent of EV Hub, we expect that the revenue from spare parts should increase significantly in the coming years.
Now, how big is the market size and what is the market share that you enjoy?
So, Tushar, you'd like to answer?
Yeah. So Sonia, the market size right now, if you look at only EVs, so in India, two-wheelers are around 1 million. And if you look at three-wheelers, the number is around 6 lakhs, right? The penetration in two-wheelers is around, like I said, 7 to 8% and reaching 10% very soon. In three-wheelers, it is upwards of 50%, right? It is almost touching 60%. So the market is poised to grow, 10x by 2030 as far as two-wheelers is concerned. And as far as three-wheelers is concerned, it will grow from, 4 to 5x by 2030. Because, infra is developing, people are, like I said, people are getting more aware about EV. And most and foremost important is the government is, backing this sector very much. So these are the factors. As far as the market share is concerned, I would say that, we look at it as a regional question rather than, as a central question. So we are heavily present or heavily, oriented in the Eastern market, naturally because we started from the East. Our second focus was the Northern market because we launched our plant in the North. And slowly we want to expand to the East, to the Southern market, Southern and Central market. So we are already one of the top 5 players in Jharkhand as far as three-wheelers is concerned. We are already among the top 10 players in Bihar, as well as if you look at West Bengal, we are doing pretty good there. So we are probably one of the top 5 customers if we combine two-wheeler and three-wheeler there. So we look at it as a regional problem, like I said, and the approach right now is to double down on our growth in the Eastern market and, to grow very quickly in the Northern market and then move to Central and Southern.
All right. So, Mr. Aman, who are your key clients?
So, as has been highlighted, we focus on the Begusarais and the Ranchis and the Bareillis of the country. So, what we realized was that, the adoption of EV has been tremendous, faster than that of smartphones or internet, because the actual users of EV sprung up from the tier 2 and below towns and cities of India, and they saw the utility, and they are very purpose driven. So, they saw that this is coming cheap, while, it's easy to drive. Our dream is that the last mile, grannies are riding our e-scooters. So they're very comfortable and easy to ride. Yes, we keep getting stories like one of the ladies, she had to go for tuitions from one Chandi is there in Bihar to, Nalanda, the main city. And it was very tough because bus commuting is a bit problematic and giving IC scooters is a bit tough from parent side. So ours are more easy to ride and everything. So those kind of stories we keep getting, and we have like focused in that market, while this market is also more loyal than us, while we have been spoiled by the discounting strategies of the companies, and we just keep flipping, but we have received very, I would say, tremendous love. And in terms of brand positioning also, they are again more utilitarian. Instead of looking for a movie star, they look for servicing, they look for the spare support. So this way we have been winning, and we keep our focus in there. While we have been serving the tier 1 customers as well, but primarily it's that. And people, if I categorize in terms of use case, people who are using things with purpose, where they don't need maybe disco lights or speakers, but a more better leg space or a boot space, or a noiseless scooter, which would just go through any kind of road that Bharat has.
So to
Wonderful.
add to
So,
what
yes,
just
Ankit.
Aman said, Sonia, just one thing I would like to add here. So we have a dealer base of almost 300 plus dealers, as we mentioned, and we have a network of all, we're present across 25 states. So the top 5 customers, since we are selling all our products to a network of dealers, so the top 5 customers are present in the eastern part of India only. So in terms of three-wheeler, the top 5 customers are states of Bihar and Jharkhand. And in terms of two-wheeler, the top 5 customers are in the states of West Bengal, Odisha, followed by our dealer who's based in Bihar.
Right.
All right.
If I may add, Sonia, to this. So what Ankit and Aman have mentioned is about the current customers. So anyone who's looking for, if I talk about retail customer, anyone who's looking for a rugged EV, anyone is looking for a beautifully designed EV, a practical EV, and an affordable EV is my customer as far as two-wheeler is concerned. If I talk about dealers, anyone who's looking for a company who supports their dealers in terms of serviceability, not just in terms of serviceability, but also in terms of retail as well as business, how to propagate business. So those are our customers. And anyone who wants to start a business from, let's say, a capital of 20 lakhs to upwards of 50 lakhs is our customer in terms of dealerships.
Excellent. So India's transitioning from the IEC to the EVs ecosystem. So what are the kind of risk and challenges that are you facing?
So in terms
Yeah.
of risk and challenges, Sonia, the major risk is the trust factor. Like when people are moving from an IC engine vehicle to electric vehicle. So their first and foremost question is because since the technology is new, so they're not very sure about like how this technology is going to pan out. Plus, they're not very sure about like what needs to be done with the battery. Like, I mean, whether my vehicle will stop somewhere or, I mean, people have that range anxiety issues that even though the survey that we have done, 90% of our customers like drive their vehicle for less than 30 kilometers on a day. But still they have that range anxiety. If I go above 100 kilometers in a day, what will happen? How will I get it charged? But having said that, like, I mean, the charging stations and other things are coming up in a very, very fast way, both from the government side also and from the private player side also. So these are some of the risks that I feel are there. Aman and Tushar can add further on this.
Right. So one is trust, like Ankit rightly mentioned. Apart from that is awareness. So if we look at tier one towns, the awareness is rightly there, and thanks to the larger players who are there, thanks to the government and their initiatives. But if we go to tier three, tier four towns, so people know what is EV, but people still do not know what is the difference between an LFP battery or a graphene battery, lead acid battery. So we see a good scope of education reaching to the end customer because see most of the people in tier three, tier four towns are more cost sensitive as compared to tier one. So there it becomes once they understand that the OPEX is 10x times lesser. That is for 1 kilometer, our EV will cost you barely 25 paisa. But let's say a Splendor or any IC engine will cost you 3 rupees, 2.5 to 3 rupees. So the cost, once they understand it is 10x lower and the vehicle practically becomes free if I look at the opportunity cost in, let's say, 1 to 1.5 years. So that will be really helpful for us.
That's wonderful. So Mr. Ankit, what's your approach to the battery development and your thoughts on sustainability
So
and the big impact it's going to make?
yes, absolutely. So in terms of battery development, so the battery technology has been constantly evolving in India. Even for the electric vehicles, like, I mean, it started with lead acid batteries, then it graduated to sealed maintenance free lead acid batteries. Then it moved to lithium ion batteries with NMC technology, which is the nickel manganese cobalt technology. And now it has graduated to lithium ferrophosphate technology. So lithium ferrophosphate is the current technology that we are using in all our scooters. So it is fire safe, so which gives a lot of comfort to everyone. Secondly, the life cycle of a lithium ferrophosphate battery is almost twice that of normal NMC batteries. So the cost per kilometer for a consumer drastically reduces because the battery which was earlier lasting for 3 years is now lasting for 5 years. So he has to change the battery once in 5 years or once in 6 years maybe, depending on his usage, depending on number of cycles he does. So I believe our technology is evolving very fast. Other few companies are coming up with lithium titanium oxide technology, which has a very fast charging time, but the cost is also like in term, like it's about 5x or 6x. So different use cases are being tried and tested. And I believe like sustainability is going to be the mantra going forward. Like if you look at the oil imports that we do, so in terms of money also, like we import almost about like $200 million of oil on a year basis. So import bill is very high. In terms of like sustainability, if you see like lot of our cities are today are in the grip of pollution, especially in Delhi where we are sitting. So yeah, I mean, electric vehicles would play a major role in driving sustainability going forward.
And what is the big impact it's going to make in a couple of years?
So in terms of big impact, I believe like there are like every year India sells about 1.6 crore to 1.7 crore two-wheelers on a yearly basis. So I believe that, I mean, since in India people do not change their two-wheelers easily, so considering a life of at least 8 to 10 years of these two-wheelers, so almost about 15 crore two-wheelers are there on the road currently. So going forward, once it starts moving from petrol to electric, so like it's going to create a very, very large impact in terms of reducing the pollution, increasing the sustainability.
All right. What's the big picture for you?
So for us, like, I mean, we, in the next 5 years, the vision and the big picture is to provide stylish and affordable EVs to every household in India. That's our dream. And we want to be amongst the top 10 players, both in the two-wheeler and the three-wheeler category in the next 5 to 7 years' time. I know it's a long battle, but we have that patience to build it up brick by brick. And we are not in a great hurry.
Super. Your final words for the potential stakeholders.
So, as I said, like, I mean, we have built this business very, very pragmatically. Testament to this fact is we have 300 plus dealers present across 25 states. We have a high ROC of 49%. We are one of the most capital efficient companies in the industry. We have grown at a CAGR of 67% since inception. We have not raised any funds. So it's not that we have raised multiple levels of fund and then we are going for an IPO. So there is a lot of value unlocking potential which is there. So there is a lot of value on the table for the end users. And we are very committed to what we are working on.
So keep doing what you're best at. Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure talking to you. Wish you a fantastic run at the markets.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. It's
Bye-bye.
been my pleasure. Thank you, Aman.